someone asked you to choose between being someone different from others or choose to be like another person, what would you choose? I'm sure you would pick the former to be special. Now allow me to ask you the same questions, but tweaked just a little bit. If you had the chance to choose between being someone that's estranged from others or a part of a big circle, generally accepted, which would you choose? I bet your answer is a little bit different now. Well, I didn't get the chance to choose my fate. Who I would be in this world, it was chosen for me. My time in school wasn't so pleasant, but was an eye-opening one, for I learned a lesson which helps me find myself when I thought the answers would always be an unsolvable problem. I've always been a mystery to myself, even when all I've known was me. From the start, I always wanted to be someone grand, an officer, an astronaut, a firefighter, modern-day heroes in one way or another. But unfortunately, being told that my brain is different from others, I won't be able to be those things, and it ruined what I wanted since the start. Even though it was a dream of a child in an older boy's body, the reality hurt. As a young child, the difference in me and the other students always showed with my difference in attitude and behavior. It's almost as if you're the misplaced red apple in a basket filled with greens, me trying to find my tree in this confusion. The understanding of my difference in performance from the other students, even as early in my life in elementary school, was as obvious to my parents and teachers as a sign pointing down at me saying, "This kid is strange," in big flashing lights. The eccentric and energetic personality in me made the task of paying attention to anything or anyone that much more difficult. I was a very disruptive child. I would act out and be the class clown less than 10 years old just to grab some attention from the other students or the teachers. My impulsivity caused my mother a lot of problems controlling a disobedient child. I wanted to be so cool to everyone else even if I wasn't being myself. The outcry and bad behavior wasn't me and isn't me, but it's who I felt like I needed to be. After bouncing around the different classes and finally moving to a new school entirely, that's what showed me why I shouldn't be this. Even though, unfortunately, I learned my lesson, but it didn't last that long. Freshman year in high school, being the odd one out always hindered the possible relationships with other people. The beginning of a new chapter, and I can't even connect with the other students because of my quirks. Not to mention that the various assignments given to me by the higher level classes of honors couldn't even be completed to my inability to complete the assignments once started, which resulted in failure for the classes. I resorted to the childish behavior in my freshman year of high school. My odd and conservative personality quirks weren't enough to rack up my friends list, so my old ways of being disruptive and the class clown came out. In a class where I earned an A in the first quarter, quickly fell to a C and a daringly close D-. Senior year in high school, those quirks are still present and accounted for in all of my classes. This time, however, I unexpectedly find a clue to my seemingly unsolvable problem that leads me to a trail of breadcrumbs of answers. Taking a class in introductions to computer coding, taking a field that I barely passed in the end, led me to two very important things that will affect my life. The first, to find out about the symptoms I had of realizing that yes, there was a medical reason as to why called ADHD. And the second, to realize that anything to do with technology, I'm not good with. But writing, something I adore, is. And I see that's something that I want to do. I sought out these new things that I wanted in my life, and after being obsessed with them, that's when I sought out towards these newfound changes in my life. Junior year in high school. Infatuated with all that I found, realizing who I was and why, accepting that and understanding I was finally able to move on and be me. It helped me to get friends, do better in my schoolwork, as well as expressing my love for writing in English and now starting to become the person I'll be for the rest of my life. I'm still embarrassed by my past. These parts of myself are still me and only being suppressed to the best of my ability. Knowing these things helped me move forward finally. I appreciate the things that happened in my life to get to this point. My lesson learned was even with the differences that someone might have from another doesn't make that a bad thing and just a part of someone's personality.